Your person wasn't giving this relationship the same time, care, and affection that you did. From the very beginning, you were open, loving, and emotionally available, always trying to nurture the bond and keep the connection alive. But over time, it became clear that your person wasn't matching your energy or effort. They seemed distant, distracted, and emotionally unavailable. While you tried to communicate your needs and feelings, they often brushed things aside or failed to respond with the same warmth. This imbalance began to weigh heavily on you, making you feel unseen, unappreciated, and emotionally drained. It reached a point where you realized that continuing to give your all to someone who wasn't reciprocating was only depleting your inner peace. So, you made a powerful decision to shut down your emotions, not out of bitterness or revenge, but out of self-preservation and self-respect. You chose to protect your heart until this person could come forward with honesty, vulnerability, and an open heart. This was not an easy decision. It took strength and courage to step back from someone you deeply cared for. But you knew that love should never mean losing yourself in the process. The moment you decided to redirect your energy inward, to love yourself more, to prioritize your own healing, and to rebuild your sense of balance, something within you shifted. As you focused on self-love, the universe began aligning things in your favor. You started to feel more grounded, more confident, and more in tune with your higher self. The pain that once consumed you slowly transformed into wisdom and strength. You realized that balance is not just about spiritual growth, but also about achieving harmony in every aspect of your life, mentally, emotionally, and even physically. You began to see how everything is interconnected. When your heart heals, your body feels lighter. When your mind finds peace, your spirit begins to shine again. This transformation didn't go unnoticed. Your person began to sense the change in your energy. They could feel that you were no longer emotionally dependent on them, no longer waiting for their approval or affection. This shift created a sense of discomfort and regret within them. Suddenly, they saw you standing strong, no longer willing to entertain their immature actions or childish behavior. You had grown beyond the patterns that once kept you stuck, and this new version of yourself made them realize what they had lost. Your person now feels that getting close to you again might be more challenging than ever. They know that the same old tactics won't work anymore. The emotional distance they once created is now the very wall standing between you. Deep down, they understand that they hurt you, not just through neglect, but through inconsiderate actions like blocking your messages, ignoring your calls, or disappearing without explanation. Those moments of silence and avoidance left you feeling rejected and confused, questioning your worth and wondering what you had done wrong. Now, your person carries the weight of that guilt. They can see how unfairly they treated someone who always approached them with kindness, patience, and compassion. They remember how softly you handled them, even when they were cold or dismissive. You offered understanding when they gave you uncertainty. You tried to hold the connection together, even when they seemed ready to let it fall apart. And now, the realization of their behavior has started to hit them hard. They're beginning to see that their avoidance and emotional immaturity not only hurt you but also sabotaged something truly meaningful. Your person wants to make things right. They want to come forward and express what they were unable to say before. There's a strong desire within them to ask for your forgiveness, not because they expect instant reconciliation, but because they genuinely regret how they made you feel. They long for a chance to start over, to rebuild the connection from a place of honesty and mutual understanding. In their heart, they know that if this relationship is ever to have a future, it must be free from the guilt, misunderstandings, and blame that once poisoned it. They want a clean slate, a fresh beginning where both of you can communicate openly and trust one another again. They've come to realize that true love cannot exist without accountability, and they are starting to see how important it is to take responsibility for their actions. They understand now that you were never asking for too much, you were simply asking for the same effort, affection, and emotional presence that you were willing to give. Meanwhile, you've evolved into someone who knows your worth. You no longer chase, plead, or settle for half-hearted love. You've learned that the right person will meet you halfway, with openness and consistency, not confusion or excuses. You've discovered that self-love isn't selfish, it's the foundation for every healthy connection. And that realization has made you magnetic in ways you may not even realize. Your energy now radiates strength, confidence, and calm. You no longer seek validation from others because you've found peace within yourself. This newfound balance has made you emotionally independent, and that's something your person deeply admires and fears at the same time. They know that winning back your trust will take more than empty promises, it will require genuine change, consistent effort, and emotional maturity. Whether you choose to reconcile or continue moving forward on your own path, you've already won. You've reclaimed your power, your peace, and your sense of self-worth. You've learned that love should never feel like chasing someone's attention, it should feel like mutual respect, emotional safety, and shared growth. And now, no matter what happens next, you stand stronger, wiser, and more aligned than ever before. Our love has been sharpened by the stone of our challenges and strengthened by the struggles of our growth. Every obstacle we have faced together has become a tool that carved our bond into something unbreakable and real. It hasn't always been easy, there were days when we misunderstood each other, moments when pride got in the way, and times when silence became louder than words, but through it all, our love endured. My life is beautiful because of you, my love. You entered my world like a ray of light piercing through darkness, illuminating corners of my heart that I didn't even know existed. You didn't just teach me the meaning of love through sweet words or grand gestures, you showed me what love truly is through your kindness, your patience, and your quiet strength. You became the calm in my chaos, the certainty in my confusion, and the warmth that melted my coldest days. Every time I looked at you, I saw more than a partner, I saw a reflection of the person I wanted to become. Your love challenged me to grow, to heal, and to face my flaws instead of hiding from them. And now, as I look back at the moments I failed you, I can only feel deep remorse for the times my pride overshadowed my heart. I am sorry. Those words may seem small, but they carry the weight of everything I've been feeling. I am sorry that I let you down, that I allowed my ego to dictate my actions when all I should have done was listen and understand. My ego is shattered now, and all that remains is the raw truth of how deeply I care for you. I am ashamed of how I acted, of the times I withdrew instead of reaching out, of the moments when I allowed fear and insecurity to cloud the love we built. I've been trying to balance my emotions, to understand them, to manage them, so that I can communicate with you in a way that builds trust rather than breaks it. I want to be consistent, to show up for you not only when things are easy but especially when they are hard. Because love is not about perfection, it's about presence. And I want to be present with you through everything, through joy, through pain, through uncertainty, and through every storm that life throws our way. I feel abandoned sometimes, but more than that, I feel like I abandoned you, and in doing so, I also abandoned a part of myself. When we stopped talking, I felt an emptiness that no distraction could fill. The silence between us grew heavy, and I kept replaying our memories in my mind, searching for the exact moment when things began to fall apart. I realized that what hurts most isn't the distance itself, but the thought that I might have pushed away the one person who truly understood me. I really want to fix everything I've broken. Being away from you has taught me that no argument, no misunderstanding, and no moment of pride is worth losing what we have. The pain of separation has been my greatest teacher. It reminded me of your worth, of our connection, and of the love that still lives within me no matter how far apart we are. When you stopped giving me attention, something strange happened. Instead of moving on or accepting the distance, I felt a stronger pull toward you. It was as if my heart refused to let go, as though the silence only amplified my desire to be near you. The more I tried to suppress my feelings, the more intense they became. I began to realize that what we share is not something fleeting, it's something deeply rooted, something that continues to grow even in the absence of words. I never intended to leave. I never intended to walk away from you, not even for a moment. You matter so much to me, more than I have ever been able to express. You've become a part of my life in ways that I can't undo, and I don't want to. You've shaped me, inspired me, and reminded me that love is not about possession but about connection. Unfortunately, circumstances pulled us apart, and maybe we both needed that space to understand what we truly mean to each other. Even though things weren't in our favor, I've never stopped believing in us. I've never stopped believing that love this deep doesn't fade, it only evolves. I still hold on to every promise I made to you, and I assure you, I will never break them. My commitment to you remains, even through uncertainty and distance. I believe with all my heart that we will find our way back to each other when the time is right. All I ask of you is to trust the process. Trust that what we have is real, that it was never a coincidence. Our love was built not in moments of ease but in moments of struggle, and that's what makes it enduring. You are my home, even when I'm lost. You are my calm, even when I'm restless. You are the person who reminds me that love is not about never falling apart, but about always finding our way back together. So, here I am, standing in my truth, stripped of excuses and pride, with only my heart laid bare. I am still learning, still growing, still trying to become the person worthy of the love you've given me. I know I've made mistakes, but I also know that love, when it's real, survives the storms meant to test it. I want us to rise again, stronger, softer, and wiser than before. You once told me that everything happens for a reason, and I think you were right. Maybe this distance, this pain, this longing, it's all part of the process that will lead us back to each other. So I'll keep holding on, with patience and hope, believing that one day soon, we will be together again. Until then, know this, I love you deeply, endlessly, and truly. Your partner knows they can't play mind games with you, and that realization has changed the way they see relationships entirely. In the past, they may have been used to situations where manipulation, emotional distance, or control were common tools to maintain a sense of power or security. But with you, those tactics simply don't work. Your presence, confidence, and emotional maturity expose any attempt at manipulation, and instead of feeling threatened by that, your partner feels both challenged and inspired. They're beginning to understand that the kind of love they want with you is one that requires honesty, self-awareness, and growth. You represent a type of energy that demands truth and transparency, not as a rule, but as a natural expectation. Your partner's past relationships were filled with patterns that stemmed from imbalance, people who carried wounds they never healed, people who tried to mask insecurity with control or comparison. Many of the feminine energies they've encountered before were struggling to find their own power, and instead of working through their emotions, they often projected those insecurities outward. They compared themselves to others, and in doing so, they unknowingly created competition where there should have been connection. When your partner met you, they felt something entirely different. They saw someone who didn't need to compete or prove anything because your strength came from within. You carried a calm confidence that set you apart, and that alone began to show your partner what real alignment looks like. Over time, life itself has revealed to them who you are, a person whose consistency, patience, and authenticity speak louder than any words could. You don't chase validation, and you don't need to manipulate situations to get attention. You stand firmly in your truth, and that energy naturally attracts success, peace, and abundance. Your partner can see that you are not only growing spiritually but also manifesting a life that reflects your inner evolution. You are creating a form of spiritual wealth, a deep sense of fulfillment, clarity, and balance that is beginning to translate into tangible success in your life. This could be seen in your career, your relationships, or even the way you carry yourself daily. You radiate purpose, and your partner is beginning to realize how rare and beautiful that is. Seeing you in this light has awakened something in them. They've started to reflect deeply on where they are in life and what kind of person they truly want to become. They want more for themselves, not just in material ways, but emotionally and spiritually as well. They admire your ability to thrive without losing your sense of integrity, and they want to rise to that same level. You've become a mirror for them, reflecting both their potential and their shortcomings. While that can be uncomfortable, it's also deeply motivating. They see you moving forward, accomplishing goals, and maintaining a strong sense of self, and it pulls them toward you like a magnetic force. Your success doesn't intimidate them, it inspires them. For the first time, they feel a genuine desire to do better, not out of fear of losing you, but because being with you makes them want to evolve. You've shown them that growth and love can coexist, that being strong doesn't mean being cold, and that true connection comes from vulnerability and effort. They now want to do the right things, not just for themselves, but also for you and the relationship you share. They want to build something that lasts, something that matches the energy you've brought into their life. One of the first and most important realizations they've had is that they need to get clean, physically, mentally, and spiritually. They've recognized that certain habits, substances, or even the company they've kept have been holding them back from becoming the best version of themselves. The people they once surrounded themselves with may have encouraged escapism, distraction, or negativity, but now they see how those influences have kept them stagnant. When they think about moving towards you, about truly aligning with your energy, the first thought that comes to mind is the need to release those destructive patterns. They want to cleanse their life, not just for appearances, but because they know they can't carry the weight of the past into a future with you. They want to free themselves from addictions, toxic friendships, and old versions of themselves that no longer serve the person they're becoming. Deep down, they understand that being with you requires clarity and accountability. You're not someone who will accept half-effort or broken promises. You represent something real and steady, and to match that, they know they have to face their demons and make lasting changes. This process isn't easy for them. There are moments when they struggle with the pull of old habits, moments when fear or guilt make them question whether they're capable of real transformation. But every time they see you succeeding, staying focused, and maintaining your peace, it reignites their determination. You are like a guiding light in their journey, not someone who saves them, but someone who reminds them that they are worth saving. You've shown them that healing is not about perfection, but about consistent effort and honesty with oneself. In many ways, your connection is helping them grow into the person they've always wanted to be. You've become a source of motivation and grounding, teaching them that love can be both passionate and peaceful, both powerful and pure. Your influence is reshaping the way they see themselves and their future. And as they take steps to get clean, to let go of the negative influences, and to align with their true purpose, they do so with the hope of one day standing beside you, not as someone who needs saving, but as someone who is healed enough to meet you at your level.